Hello everyone and Merry Christmas. This is my review of the Christmas special. Just a few things that I'm going to say very quickly. One, the reason why I have not uploaded the 50th anniversary review is because I've been unable to edit it. I did it in separate videos, separate bits, like good points, bad points, and I'm supposed to cut and edit it together, but my laptop is being an arse, so I can't. Another reason is because it's past the 15-minute limit, so I couldn't upload it or edit it on my iPad, thus I couldn't upload it or edit it. So with this video, I'm not even going to cut anything, it's just one continuous video, so I'm sorry if I made mistakes or anything like that. I usually do anyway, and I refuse to edit them out. So I'll just try and make this as quick and as brief, well, as quick as possible, not necessarily as brief. But yeah, lack of videos is because of laptop and other things. But basically, Time of the Doctor. Okay, we'll move on to this Christmas special. Good point. I'll just speak about good points and bad points as they come, but it was a good story. I enjoyed it, but there was major flaws and major good points. The good points, though, are like all the scene with the Doctor's foes worked when they were like separately. They were separate. But when the Doctor's foes kind of appeared together, even though it didn't happen much, but in various scenes it didn't really work as well as a collective thing. However, the scenes with the Doctor's enemies towards the beginning of the story, where he was like running into different ships and stuff like that on the TARDIS, was pretty epic. I thought it was really good. I like the references that were made throughout the episode. There is a reference to pteroleptils, which we have only seen once in televised, and that is Peter Davison's story, The Visitation, which had the pteroleptils in. We also get a reference to the Master and to the Death Zone in the same concept, which raises the question: the Doctor keeps a lot of random crap, including the teleportation. No, sorry, the seal and the teleportation device that he got from the Five Doctors when he faced the Master in the Death Zone and took it off him, basically. So he kept those, which is, well, this kind of raises the question that the Doctor keeps a lot of random things that he acquires on his journeys. I like the Cyberhead. I like the idea that the Doctor is taking bits of his enemies and kind of adapting them to assist himself. I think that's actually very Doctorish, and for once, instead of the Doctor killing everything, which he kind of does in the episode as well, but we get the very Doctorish thing about him. He uses bits of his fallen enemies, his foes that he's fought for centuries, Cybermen, Daleks, and he's used them to try and create something for himself, for like a device. He's using a Cyberhead as information, and he's like carrying it about with him, and it's like a gadget. It's a new gadget, although obviously the Cyberhead dies out and stops working, but for the episode it is quite a good gadget, and I like that. I mean, it seemed like he used the sonic screwdriver less in favour of a different gadget, which I like, because the sonic screwdriver just seems to solve everything, but having other gadgets, even though they solve everything, gadgets seem to solve everything when plot can't go forward. But it's better. It's fresher and nicer to see a new gadget. The idea of a second Time War was interesting. The fact that if the Time Lords do return, a new Time War with all of the enemies that have gathered there against the Time Lords would be interesting. However, all these enemies would probably turn on each other and kill each other. I also liked this. I liked it when we saw Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, or 12th or 13th, if whatever you want to call him, as that is not very clear, which is a bad point, by the way. I like the fact that he becomes similar to the first Doctor when he ages, because technically the first Doctor aged his body rather than dying from one of the causes that the other Doctors did. And more or less, Matt Smith, the last Doctor of the cycle, became old and died of old age, even though technically his regeneration was forced, so maybe he would have survived longer. But he's packing in, basically. The entire episode itself, was good, but I think because of the fact it followed the 50th anniversary, which you will see in my review, I liked it a lot. However, there was problems in that as well, but because it followed the 50th anniversary with all the epic scenes that were in the 50th anniversary, it didn't quite work as well. And it wasn't as epic, which, yes, you probably expect that, because obviously the 50th anniversary had a really high budget in comparison to this. But yes, that did affect it slightly. The major bad points was towards the beginning, until they get to the town properly, barely anything really happens, and everything that does happens really, really fast. It's like they've crammed, until they actually get to the town, they've just literally crammed in loads of random scenes that kind of fit together, but it just felt thrown together. I don't like the idea that they count David Tennant's the 10th Doctor or the 11th Doctor, whatever you want to call it, hand shot into the shooting his regenerative energy into the hand. I don't think they should count that as a regeneration, but they did, so meh. I hate the bullshit Dalek conditioned people from Asylum. It was one of the reasons I hated Asylum of the Daleks, one of the many reasons, and they had to bring that concept back, and it pissed me off. That scene with all the Silence people standing in a line, then becoming conditioned Daleks. But anyway, the plot holes got answered in this story. Series 5, Series 6 got answered in this story. The cracks, the silence. Silence will fall when the Doctor reveals his name. But he didn't reveal his name, so silence didn't fall yet again. Another thing, but the cracks, we get an answer to the cracks. Now the cracks were forged by the Silence to blow up the Doctor's TARDIS, because when the Doctor's TARDIS blows up, it creates the cracks in time, shattering time itself. But in the episode it contradicts itself, because it says that the Time Lords are basically causing the cracks, but the Silence are. So they contradict one another in the same episode, which annoys me. That's a bad point. However, we do get answers. I personally stick with what my speculation is, that ever since End of Time, these cracks have been happening, because ripping Gallifrey through universes, back and forth, through time, through universes, through time locks, has created these cracks. And it's linked to Gallifrey. And I prefer that to the Silence creating it, because I don't think that really is a good way to answer the question, really. But then you also get the fact the Doctor gets his new set of regenerations by the Time Lords, but the Time Lords aren't there, and the cracks aren't even solved. That, and when the Daleks and the Silence are the last surviving armies out of Cybermen, Sontarans, every single force, they're the last two surviving armies. The Doctor sides with the Silence to fight the Daleks, but after the Daleks are destroyed, the Silence still remain. So then the Doctor leaves on the TARDIS, regenerates, but you've left an entire town, you've left Trenzalore in peril by the silence. That's also a major plot hole, because you've kind of left them to be killed by some religious order, which I also didn't like the explanation of what the silence are, genetically engineered to made to be forgotten, because I don't think that doesn't seem right, that you can genetically engineer to be forgotten, because how can you do that to genetics? It wouldn't really work. It would be more interesting if they were an alien race that did that just naturally. That's more like, yeah. Also, the Amy Pond scene at the end. Yes, it gave closure to the Amy Pond thing, but just seeing pointless. It was like, well, you've got Clara right there, and you're going on about a companion that's no longer in Doctor Who and probably won't come back. Yes, it was a touching scene, but I didn't like it. But anyway, yes, it was epic because we got to see Peter Capaldi. Matt Smith was in his prime. I thought he acted really well in this story. It was a shame about the plot holes. I think Clara did really, really well in the story. The Daleks were epic in the scenes they were in. The silence, given the chance, were actually epic. I mean, I disliked the Weeping Angels, but they did good because they were barely in it. However, the problem with the Weeping Angels is, how do you destroy them? How did they actually destroy it? There's no... Yes, they're only stone, but can you blow them up? Can you not? You'll never know. But anyway, I even liked the wooden Cyberman. I thought that was an ingenious way to try and get past the whole technology ban thing on the planet. But anyway, that is basically it. That is all I can say, because I'm running out of time and I need to upload this because I'm not editing. I can't be bothered. And my laptop is screwed. But anyway, I will give it a rating of 7 out of 10. There's nothing going to appear on the screen. 7 out of 10. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm sorry it's all blabber and stuff, but my reviews generally are now. Well, they always were. But I've just stated facts and opinions about the story. I'm glad. Thank you for watching. Hope you've had a Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. I'm hoping this will upload before New Year, unless the internet goes crazy. But thank you very much. Goodbye. Hopefully the 50th anniversary review will be uploaded soon. If not, you can watch it eventually if you're still interested. Bye.